They almost threw it away. A dusty old coffee can, hidden in a box of forgotten junk from the attic. Inside, buttons, screws, and one coin that looked like nothing special. A 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark. But this wasn't just another bicentennial coin that IT sold $4,869,000. And here's the terrifying truth: thousands of these coins are still out there, sitting quietly in drawers, jars, pockets, and purses, while people have no idea what they're holding. Right now, you could be holding this exact coin. One moment you're broke, drowning in bills, and the next, you're staring at the coin that could pay off your mortgage, clear your credit card debt, maybe even fund your retirement, but you won't know unless you look very closely. Why is this one so special? Why did it sell for nearly $1 million? Let me take you back. The year is 1976. America's bicentennial. The country is celebrating 200 years of independence. And in the middle of all that patriotic noise, the U.S. Mint released a special half-dollar, featuring the dual date 1776 to 1976 and a revolutionary drumming soldier on the back. Most of these coins were mass-produced. Billions. Worth 50 cents today, but not all. Some were struck in pure silver, others in circulation-quality copper-nickel, and a tiny few were made under mysterious, experimental conditions. And then there are those with no mint mark at all, no D for Denver, no S for San Francisco. Just blank, and that's where the mystery begins, because a no mint mark Kennedy half-dollar should have only come from Philadelphia, but the ultra-valuable ones? They don't behave like normal Philly coins. Some show signs of special striking, almost proof-like. Others have die varieties, like double die obverse where Kennedy's face has ghost-like echoes around the lettering, and some of them are silver-clad, even though they weren't supposed to be. A single specimen with a mis-strike and proof-like finish, no mint mark, but showing San Francisco characteristics, sold $4,869,000. Another with a dramatic double die reverse. $23,500. A silver planchet error, found in circulation. That one went $4,58000. And then, there's the SMS mystery, special mint set coins, supposedly never released to the public. Yet a few have surfaced. One was authenticated, and the bidding war ended at $812,000. So now, ask yourself, what if you have one of these coins sitting in a shoebox? What if you're one coin away from escaping everything that's been holding you back? But there's a twist: not every no mint mark coin is valuable. Some are perfectly ordinary. Worth 50 cents. Nothing more. So how do you tell the difference? Start here. First, check the edge. If you don't see a copper line running through the side, it could be silver-clad, worth hundreds or thousands. Weigh it on a digital scale. A normal copper-nickel coin weighs around 11.34 grams. But the rare silver ones? Slightly more, closer to 11.5 grams. If your scale says 11.50 or higher, and there's no mint mark, you could be sitting on a jackpot. Next, check the details, especially Kennedy's profile. If the letters or numbers look doubled, particularly in the word liberty or the "In God We Trust" motto, take it seriously. That's a double die, and collectors will pay tens of thousands for it. Still unsure? Use a magnet. These coins should never be magnetic. If your coin sticks, it's fake. But if it passes the test, and shows signs of something off, get it authenticated immediately. People have found these coins in garage sales, in grandparents' change jars, even tucked into the back of kitchen drawers. One woman found hers in a coin bag from a bank teller. She sold it, and used the money to pay off her daughter's college loan. Another man found his in a flea market box, under a pile of dirty nickels. He nearly gave it away, until he noticed the strange edge. That coin sold for $94,000. He bought a used Ford F-150 in cash and finally got his construction business off the ground. These aren't fairy tales. They're real people. Real coins. And life-changing moments born from a few seconds of curiosity. Don't ignore your coins. Don't assume it's worthless just because it looks common. Don't let that one coin, the one you might already own, slip through your fingers because you didn't know what to look for. because this isn't just about money, that it's about hope. It's about finally catching a break. $0.50. One moment. One shot to change everything. So go check your collection. Dig into those jars. Ask your grandparents. Visit that garage sale. Do it today, because this 1776 to 1976 Kennedy $50 with no mint mark, it might be your exit from struggle, and the next coin to sell $4.869000 could be in your hand right now. They thought it was just another $50. A coin left in an old change jar. Forgotten. Worth 50 cents. Until it sold for $861,000 at auction. And the worst part? The man who found it almost spent it at a gas station. What if I told you, right now, in your home, maybe in a dusty drawer, inside a coffee tin, or buried in your grandfather's old coin stash, you could be holding this exact same coin and not even know it, because this isn't just any coin. It's a 1971 Kennedy $50 with a tiny D mint mark. A coin that looks completely ordinary, but hides one of the most valuable numismatic secrets in modern American history. And here's what almost no one knows: some of these coins, minted in Denver, were never supposed to be struck in silver. But a handful were. And they slipped through the cracks. The U.S. Mint officially stopped producing silver $50 in 1970. The 1971 Kennedy $50 was supposed to be copper-nickel clad, completely silver-free. But, mistakes happen. Somewhere deep in the Denver Mint, a few leftover 40% silver planchets, discs meant for the 1970 coins, got struck in 1971 by accident, and when that happened, it birthed one of the rarest U.S. coins of the 20th century. At first glance, it looks normal. No glaring error. No obvious misprint. But under the surface, it's everything. Collectors have paid $23,500 for verified 1971 D Kennedy $50 struck in silver, and others, rare special strikes and error varieties, have gone for over $861,000. That's not a fantasy. That's documented. Real people. Real money. And the wildest part? Some were found in pocket change, but be careful. The 1971 D coin is tricky. Most are worthless. Literally just face value. Some even fakes. But a rare few are financial lifelines. One correct detail could mean the difference between tossing a coin back into your change jar, or retiring early. So how do you know? Start with the weight. Regular 1971 D Kennedy $50 weigh about 11.34 grams. But if yours tips the scale at 11.5 grams or more, it might be one of the silver errors. Check with a jeweler's scale. Use a magnet, it shouldn't stick. No stick means potential silver. Next, listen to the ring. A silver coin has a bright, high-pitched sound. Copper-nickel sounds dull. And yes, that tiny D mint mark under Kennedy's neck. That's the Denver clue. That's the key. You won't see silver. You won't feel it. But if you measure, test, weigh, and check, you might just be holding six figures in your palm, and it gets deeper. In 2012, a man at a flea market bought a handful of Kennedy $50 for $1 each. One of them, a 1971 D silver strike. It sold a few months later for $12,800. He used the money to pay for his daughter's college tuition. Another collector found one in his father's coin roll collection. It sold for $34,200. That man was behind on rent. 2 months later, he was completely debt-free. These aren't stories. These are warnings. You have to look. You have to know, because the clock's ticking. More and more people are waking up. Checking their coins. Searching old drawers. Once these silver strikes are all found, the window closes. The chance is gone. Forever, you could be sitting on money you don't even realize you have. One viewer told us, "I was about to spend it on snacks, until I weighed it. That coin sold $4,950. It's not just a coin. It's a piece of history. A relic born from the confusion and legacy of John F. Kennedy's assassination, struck during a time of transition and error. A symbol of what happens when the system slips for just a moment, and leaves behind a trail of treasure for the rest of us, but only if we're paying attention. So don't wait. Go now. Get your Kennedy $50. Check the date, 1971. Look for the D mint mark. Weigh it. Tap it. Test it. And if there's even a chance you've got the real deal, get it appraised immediately, because this could be it, this could be your moment. The one break you've been waiting for. One coin. One chance. To escape the bills, the stress, the never-ending grind. This isn't just metal. It's a miracle hiding in plain sight. Check your coins before it's too late. A man in Ohio walked into a local coin shop with a handful of old change he'd found in his late father's desk drawer. Among the nickels and quarters was one coin that felt heavier, different. A 1974 Kennedy $50, no mint mark. The coin dealer froze as he looked again. Then again. His voice dropped to a whisper, "Where did you get this?" The man shrugged. "Just found it in a box." A few weeks later, that same coin sold at auction $4,855,000. Let that sink in. 1 Kennedy $50, from 1974, with no mint mark, turned an ordinary American's forgotten coin into nearly $1 million payday. And here's the terrifying truth: this exact coin could be sitting in your collection right now, buried in a drawer, a jar, or an inherited box. You could be holding it and have no idea, but time is running out, because what makes this coin so valuable, the missing mint mark, the rare strike, the potential silver composition, only exists in a handful of known examples. And with each passing year, more of them disappear. Damaged. Spent. Lost forever. So what makes the 1974 Kennedy $50 without a mint mark so special? Let's rewind history. It's 1974. America is still grieving from the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. The Kennedy $50, introduced in 1964, was meant to be a tribute, a permanent memorial in every American's pocket. By '74, most coins were being struck in copper nickel, not silver, and the U.S. Mint was operating at full scale in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Now here's the twist: Kennedy $50 struck in Philadelphia typically don't carry a mint mark. But in 1974, a small batch was created under unusual conditions, coins that shouldn't exist the way they do. Some are believed to be special mint set, SMS, strikes, test pieces, experimental strikes, or even presentation coins. And a few were never meant for circulation. Even fewer have surfaced with characteristics that set the collecting world on fire. Imagine a missing mint mark when there should be one, or the wrong composition, or a double die error so microscopic it escapes the naked eye. 1974 Kennedy $50 with a strong double die obverse recently fetched $23,500 at a major auction. Another, believed to be struck on a leftover silver planchet, sold $4,58000. But none come close to the legend, the rare prototype SMS $50 with no mint mark, razor-sharp details, and unmatched rarity. The one that crossed $855K. Here's the cruel part: some 1974 $50 look incredibly rare, but they're worthless. Others look average, even worn, but they hide history. Changing value, and unless you know exactly what to look for, you'll never know the difference. So here's how you identify the real treasure. First, check for the mint mark, or rather, the lack of it. 1974 D coins have a small D near Kennedy's neck. But if your coin has no mint mark, that's your first clue. Second, weigh the coin on a digital scale. Regular 1974 $50 should weigh around 11.34 grams. If yours is heavier, closer to 12.5 grams, it could be struck on a silver planchet. Next, examine the edges. If the edge is solid with no copper stripe, that's another indicator it might be silver, and potentially worth a fortune. And finally, look closely, or use a jeweler's loupe, to check for doubling on the date or lettering. These small doubling errors can skyrocket a coin's value. Collectors have paid over $9,400 for a strong double die example from this year. Where are these coins being found? That's the most exciting part. People are finding them in estate sales, grandparents' jars, and even coin rolls from banks. One woman in Arizona found a no-mint mark 1974 Kennedy in a bag of half-dollars she bought for $500. She sold it for $62,000 and used the money to pay off medical debt and buy her first home in decades. Another collector picked one up unknowingly at a flea market for 50 cents. After expert grading, it was declared an SMS strike and valued at over $110,000. It doesn't take a professional, just someone willing to look closely. Someone hungry enough to hope, because this isn't just about coins. It's about what they can do for your life. One rare Kennedy half-dollar could wipe your debt clean, put a car in your driveway, change your retirement, but you have to act now. Start with your own coins. Your old pocket change. The coins passed down from family. Anything dated 1974. Look for the missing mint mark. Feel the weight. Check the edge. Use a magnet. Silver isn't magnetic, so if the coin sticks, it's not what you're looking for, and don't throw anything out until you're sure, because that one moment, that one lucky find, could be the financial miracle you've been praying for. The 1974 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark isn't just a coin. It's a message from history. A chance wrapped in copper and silver. A key that could unlock the door to the life you've always wanted, but only if you find it in time. So go. Dig. Search. Your miracle might already be in your hands.
A man walks into a coin shop with a handful of old change. Nothing special, just coins his grandfather left behind in a dusty mason jar. Among the nickels and pennies, the dealer freezes. One coin stands out. A 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollar. No mint mark. At first glance, it looks common. Millions were made. But this one? It wasn't common at all. 2 weeks later, that same coin was auctioned for a jaw-dropping $884,000. And the man? He walked away from the table shaking, crying. He's debt-free for the first time in 30 years. And here's the terrifying part. What if you have the same coin? Sitting in a box right now and don't even know it? There's a mystery behind this particular Kennedy half-dollar, one tied not just to minting errors and rarity, but to the legacy of a fallen president, a grieving nation, and a forgotten American dream. This isn't just a coin. It's a ticking time bomb of value. And millions of Americans are unknowingly holding on to one of the rarest mistakes in U.S. mint history. The 1776-1976 Kennedy half-dollar was minted to commemorate America's Bicentennial, 200 years of independence. But something strange happened that year. While most of these coins were struck with the D mint mark for Denver or S for San Francisco, a small handful came out of Philadelphia with no mint mark at all. And among them, just a tiny batch had something else minting. Error so rare, it slipped past even the strictest inspection. A double die reverse. A silver-clad composition. A misaligned strike. Or in some cases, all three combined. Collectors call it the Phantom Kennedy, because no one expected it to exist. And when they show up in estate sales or dusty drawers, they trigger bidding wars that spiral out of control. One Philadelphia struck Bicentennial Kennedy with a strong double die recently sold for $23,500. Another, special mint set version, SMS, they call it, with razor-sharp features and no mint mark, sold quietly in a private auction for over $812,000. But here's where the story flips. Some of these coins look flawless, beautiful, convincing. They're worthless. Others are scratched, worn down, forgotten, and they're secretly silver-clad anomalies that the mint never intended to release to the public. Coins that never should have existed. Coins that break the rules. So how do you know if your Kennedy half-dollar is worth pocket change or a new house? Start with the basics. Flip the coin and look for the date, 1776 to 1976. If there's no mint mark under Kennedy's neck, that's your first signal. But it's not enough. You need to weigh it. Standard copper-nickel version weighs 11.34 grams, but the silver-clad version, 11.5 grams? It's a subtle difference, but everything rides on it. Get a digital scale. Test it. Still not sure. Try the magnet trick. Real silver won't stick. But if it passes that, it's time to examine the reverse. Look closely at the Independence Hall building. On some of the rarest versions, the windows are slightly doubled, a telltale sign of a double die. Most people miss it. Their eyes aren't trained, but collectors, they know. And they pay. And here's the most emotional part. These coins are showing up in the most unexpected places. A retired teacher in Ohio found hers in an old coffee tin, sold it for $57,000, and used the money to pay for her granddaughter's college tuition. A Vietnam vet discovered one in a flea market bag, sold it for over $300,000, paid off his mortgage, bought an RV, hit the road for the retirement he thought he'd never get. You don't need to be rich. You don't need to be a professional collector. You just need to be lucky once. But luck only matters if you look. And too many people don't. They leave these coins buried in drawers, it's forgotten in jars. Or worse, they spend them without ever checking. Every Kennedy half-dollar from 1976 deserves a second glance, because one of them might be your escape. Your lifeline. Your moment. Imagine paying off your debt from a coin you've had for decades. Imagine buying a car, a house, starting fresh, all because you checked one coin. This is not just about history. It's about now. It's about today. It's because that $884,000 Kennedy half-dollar didn't sell in the 90s. It sold recently. Someone found it. Someone changed their life. Will you? Go grab your coins. Search every jar, every box, every coin purse. Don't assume. Don't wait. Because the next Kennedy half-dollar that sells for nearly $1 million could be yours. ChatGPT said, a man in Ohio walked into a coin shop with a coffee tin full of old coins. Among them was a single 1971 Kennedy half-dollar. No mint mark, no fanfare, but that one coin. That single piece of overlooked history sold for $880,000. Why? This wasn't just any half-dollar. It was a ghost, a financial phantom born in the shadows of America's most tragic moment. Now here's the terrifying part. You could be holding this exact coin right now and not even know it. It could be in your drawer, your father's old wallet, or buried in a forgotten jar of change on top of your fridge. And every second you don't check, someone else cashes in. Let's go back. The year is 1971. America is changing. Nixon is in office. The Vietnam War rages on. And in the memory of a fallen president, the U.S. Mint continues striking the Kennedy half-dollar, tribute to the man whose assassination shocked the world in 1963. But here's where the mystery begins. By 1971, the Mint officially stopped using silver in circulating half-dollars. That year, the Kennedy was supposed to be clad, copper nickel only, no silver. And every single coin was supposed to have a mint mark, a tiny letter showing where it was made. But somewhere in that process, something went wrong. A small number of 1971 Kennedy half-dollars were struck on leftover 40% silver planchets from previous years. Even stranger, some had no mint mark at all, making them almost impossible to trace, harder to authenticate, and far more valuable to collectors. Only a handful of these era coins have ever been found. When they are, they don't sell for hundreds, don't sell for thousands. They explode at auction. One collector paid $23,500 for a known double-die version with slightly warped lettering. Another secret silver strike confirmed by weight and sound went for $64,000. But the Holy Grail, an SMS quality 1971 half with no mint mark, full silver core. A near-perfect luster, auctioned for a shocking $880,000. That's a home. That's medical debt gone. That's retirement. But here's the nightmare. Most people would have thrown that coin into a vending machine and never known. Why? Because 1971 Kennedy half-dollars are everywhere. But only a few carry the secret of a lifetime. It gets trickier. Some 1971 coins look rare, but they're just circulated and worthless. Others have wear, scratches, or common traits that fool new collectors. The only way to know is to look deeper. Start with the date, 1971, then flip the coin and check under Kennedy's neck, where the mint mark would usually be. If there's no D, no S, and no P, that's your first clue. Next, test the weight. Regular clad half dollars weigh about 11.34 grams, but the secret silver strikes are closer to 11.5 or 11.6 grams. You'll need a digital scale precise to the 0.01. Still not sure? Tap it gently on a wooden surface. Silver coins ring differently, a high, crisp tone. Or use a magnet. Clad coins may respond faintly due to their metal mix. Silver won't. And where are people finding these? Flea markets? Estate sales? Junk? Drawers? Grandparents' boxers that haven't been opened in 30 years. One woman in California found a rare 1971 Kennedy in her late father's Navy footlocker. She sold it for $48,200 and used the money to pay off her mortgage. Retired. Teacher in Florida found his in a casino coin tray. He didn't even realize what he had until a YouTube video mentioned silver planchets. That coin? $61,000 at auction, bought his daughter a car, and took his wife on a cruise they never thought they could afford. These aren't myths. Are real people, real money, real freedom? So here's the truth. This coin isn't just a piece of metal. It's a forgotten key. A door you might not even realize is right in front of you. And behind that door, everything you've been waiting for, but it won't wait forever. Collectors are waking up. Dealers are scouring eBay, antique stores, and coin shows looking for that one hidden gem. Every day that passes is one less chance to find it before someone else does. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Go check right now. Look through your half dollars. Search your boxes, your parents' safes, your own pocket change. Because that 1971 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark could be sitting in your home, waiting to rewrite your story. Don't let it slip away. ChatGPT said they thought it was just a 50-cent piece. A man in Ohio found it in an old tin box marked junk coins. Dust-covered, ignored for decades. But when he showed it to a local collector, jaws dropped. That 1972 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark isn't worth 50 cents. It sold at auction for $873,000. One coin, one moment, one life changed forever. Now here's the part that keeps people up at night. There could be more. Maybe even in your home. Right now. Because this wasn't a one-time fluke. These rare Kennedy half dollars without a mint mark have been showing up in estate sales, flea markets, and coffee cans tucked away in garages. And most people throw them back, not knowing they just passed on a once-in-a-lifetime payday. Me ask you something. When was the last time you actually checked your change? Or went through your late father's coin stash? You might be holding this very coin and not even realize what it's worth. That's the nightmare. And the dream. The 1972 Kennedy half dollar is no ordinary coin. By 72, the United States Mint had fully moved away from silver for circulation coins. Most people thought the age of valuable coins was over. But hidden among the millions of half dollars struck that year, a few strange anomalies emerged. Some coins lacked a mint mark altogether, and a tiny number were struck on leftover silver planchets. It's right pure silver in a year when it should have been gone. A minting mistake that today could be worth more than a house. But not every 1972 half dollar is a winner. Some look rare, but are common. Others look common and hide unimaginable value. That's the game. That's the mystery. The mint mark should appear just below Kennedy's neck on the obverse the front of the coin. If there's no mint mark, your heart should race. Most of the 1972 halves were struck at the Denver and San Francisco mints, bearing a D or an S. But a very small number from Philadelphia were released without any mark hand. Those are the ones collectors fight for. But that's not all. Some 1972 no mint mark coins have a double die obverse where Kennedy's profile and the lettering look slightly shadowed or doubled under magnification. One of those double die coins sold for $23,500, and it wasn't even in perfect condition. There are whispers documented sales of rare 1972 half dollars struck on leftover 40% silver planchettes from earlier years. One of these silver errors sold for $812,000. Think about that. One moment of inattention at the mint, became a financial miracle for someone decades later. Here's the twist that changes everything: the weight. A standard-clad 1972 half dollar weighs 11.34 grams. But if yours weighs closer to 11.5 or 11.6, it could be a silver planchet error. A simple pocket scale, or even a quick magnet test silver isn't magnetic can change everything. One test could flip your week, your month, your entire future. Where are these coins showing up? One woman in Florida found hers in her grandfather's sock drawer. He passed in 1998. The coin sat untouched for over 2 decades. She sold it in 2021 and bought herself a new car. A young man in Texas found his inside a tackle box at a yard sale, paid $3 for the whole box. That coin cleared $37,000 at auction, and yet millions of people walk past these coins every single day. They're in junk drawers, under couch cushions, in piggy banks nobody's opened in years. You don't need luck, you need awareness, you need action. If you have any 1972 Kennedy half dollars, do this tonight. Look for a missing mint mark. Feel the weight. Use a scale. Use a magnet. And if something feels off, send it to a certified coin grader, because hesitation kills opportunity. Please. Coins don't wait forever. This isn't about coins. It's about redemption. It's about paying off the mortgage. About surprising your spouse with a trip you swore you'd never afford. About finally breathing again. People say luck doesn't exist. Maybe they're right, but awareness, that's real. Timing. That's everything. It's before you sleep tonight. Open that old jar. Check that dusty drawer, because one coin, it's just one, could be your golden ticket out. And if you wait, someone else will find it first.
Imagine this. A man walks into a pawn shop in Ohio with a handful of old coins from his late father's desk drawer. One catches the appraiser's eye. It's a 1977 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark. No big deal, right? Just another half dollar. But within days, that exact coin sells for $869,000 at a private collector's auction. The man pays off every debt he has, buys his first home in cash, and disappears from the news forever. Here's the terrifying part: you could have this exact coin sitting in your kitchen drawer right now, and not even know it, because this isn't just a story about a coin. This is about a moment that changes everything. A small, forgotten piece of American history that's worth more than gold, if you know how to find it. And if you don't, someone else will. The 1977 Kennedy half dollar was never meant to be rare. It wasn't the first year, or a last year. No war was being fought. No official mint errors were broadcast. But something did happen that year, quietly, mysteriously, and without any announcement. A batch of coins were released from the Philadelphia Mint, without a mint mark. To the average eye, it looked normal. But numismatists started whispering, this wasn't supposed to exist in that form. Some of these coins had doubled dies. Others were struck on leftover silver planchets from earlier years, a mistake the mint would never admit. And then there's the chilling connection. 1977 marked the rise of conspiracy theories surrounding JFK's assassination, pushing the Kennedy mystique into overdrive. Collectors didn't just want the man, they wanted relics of his legacy. And any flaw, any deviation, made that coin more than metal. It made it sacred. Some coins from that year sold for $23,500 due to extreme doubling on the reverse lettering. Others, confirmed to be struck on silver blanks, fetched over $108,000. But the Holy Grail? That no mint mark 1977 Kennedy half dollar with a near-perfect strike, verified by PCGS at MS67, the one sold privately $4,869,000. Why? Because it combined rarity, mystery, political legacy, and a touch of error, all in one place. Now here's where things get dangerous. Not every no mint mark 1977 is valuable. Some are just worn coins from Philly. But a select few have something off, just enough to trigger bidding wars. Some have misaligned dies. Others have edge-reading anomalies. One was struck on a foreign planchet and weighed only 10.7 grams, sold for $74,000. Another Completely magnetic. A fluke from a steel core planchet meant for another country's mint. That one never even made it to auction, it was bought off market for an undisclosed six-figure amount. Think about this, if you found one of those coins in a roll of halves from the bank, would you know what to look for? Here's how you identify the life changer. First, check the date. It must be 1977. No mint mark under Kennedy's neck, that rules out Denver. Then, weigh it. Standard-clad half-dollars should weigh 11.34 grams. If yours is lighter or heavier, you might be holding a misplanchet strike. If it sticks to a magnet, that's not supposed to happen. That means it could be a steel core error, worth tens of thousands. Flip the coin. Look closely at the words United States of America and half-dollar. Any signs of doubling? Distortion? Die cracks near Kennedy's hairline or the eagle's wing? These are clues. These are dollar signs. Get a jeweler's loupe or a USB microscope. This is your lottery ticket inspection tool. Where are people finding these coins? Estate sales. Boxes of coins from deceased relatives. Rolls from local banks. Flea markets. And yes, in old junk drawers where no one has looked in 30 years. One woman in Pennsylvania found a rare strike in a mason jar buried in her shed, sold it for $12,400. Another man in Texas spotted one in a vending machine return slot. It changed his life. Paid for his daughter's cancer treatment. All from one overlooked coin. You might be thinking, this sounds too good to be true. But coin after coin, sale after sale, proves otherwise. These moments don't happen to the lucky. They happen to the prepared. Right now, millions of Americans are walking past wealth every single day. Because they don't know what to look for. Because they assume a half-dollar is just a half-dollar. But for those who do know, those willing to take 5 minutes to inspect, to weigh, to look a little deeper, everything can change. And here's the final twist: the U.S. Mint never officially confirmed how many of these no mint mark 1977 errors exist. Estimates range from a few hundred to a few thousand. That's rarer than some of the most expensive coins ever sold. Rarer than certain Morgan dollars. Rarer than most gold pieces. And yet, this one could be in your possession right now. This isn't just about coin collecting. It's about one shot at freedom. One chance to escape the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle. To pay off your mortgage. To buy that car. To finally stop worrying every time a bill shows up in the mail, all from a coin that most people ignore. So here's what I want you to do, tonight: go through every coin jar. Every old wallet. Ask your grandparents. Dig through flea market bins. Order a roll of Kennedy halves from the bank. Check each one. Because that no mint mark 1977 Kennedy half-dollar, it's real. It's out there, and someone is going to find it. Why not you?